like I'm being haunted by a twerking poltergeist. You know that one song, the Glorilla song that's like, yeah, glow, that fist bumper. I keep hearing that lyric over and over in my head. It's like my new audio stem, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting because I don't even have the tism. Okay, I don't have that. Like I've said before, I have been grazed by the tism bullet, but it has not fully lodged. I will say it is preferable to the other audio stem that's been playing over and over in my head, which is just that one random clip of Alex Jones on a Zoom call screaming out the word Jew over and over and over again. I don't know what the context is. Frankly, I kind of don't want to know. I think it would ruin the mystique of it. And that one was starting to get a little bit concerning because on Saturday mornings, I'll be driving to like, I don't know, buy some sort of carbohydrate. And I live in a neighborhood that has a lot of Orthodox Jews in it. And they'd be dripped out, you know, dressed in black and white. Looks like the Bloods have some competition. I don't know what they would be called though. The Dominoes? The Rachel Dolezals. Ooh. I'd be driving through these neighborhoods and they'd be, you know, walking on their way to temple. And that audio stem, Jew, would be blasting in my head as I'm driving. And it wasn't negative. I'm not like pointing out the window and screaming it. I have some decorum. And it started to scare me just how little control I actually have over my intrusive thoughts. I felt bad, so my carbohydrate that day was a bagel. I saw it as my way of giving back. That has nothing to do with the topic of this video, but for any people who are new viewers, I just wanted to introduce myself in a manner that I thought was, you know, organic, authentic. You know what you're getting into at this point. I rarely have guilty pleasures. And that's mainly because I don't tend to feel shame over things like this. I will feel shame over, not even shame actually, crippling guilt over like mildly inconveniencing people. But having shame over an interest that is not even self-destructive, no, I don't play those games. But however, this is the one indulgence I will actually say is somewhat of a guilty pleasure. And that is those stupid Jubilee videos. I think it's Jubilee, right? Sometimes they're interchangeable with channels like The Cut. You know the videos I'm talking about. It's a combination of things. Sometimes it'll have panels. It's recently specifically been those like 1 versus 20 where they'll have like a random person who's a leftist or a conservative or they're a vegan, or they're like left-handed or something, and they have to go against 20 people that disagree with them. And it's a format that is so bizarre because you have to race to a chair. It's a musical chairs version of debate. It's so stupid. It's so deliciously cringy, pointless. There is no debate. There is no conversation. Of course not. That's not the point, okay? And when I see there's a new video up, I go, ooh, mama needs a hit.
But you don't condemn persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution.
We may have to rename this show because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you can say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
I plan out my cortisol spikes, okay? It's actually quite perverse, but I do like to indulge in very like small acts of masochism, you know? And I know watching it, it's gonna get me pissed. It's gonna get me angry because these producers, they hand select individuals who, you know what, I don't want to speak ill of them because I don't know these people in real life. If I was to interact with them in real life, I think they'd probably be fine, but something about these shows, it brings out the worst in people. And I sit there, fake cigarette in hand. And yes, I did purchase this. These weren't even props for a video, by the way. I just wanted to feel like Carrie Bradshaw and have my fake little cigarette. Ooh, oh yes. And I taped it up so that my constant saliva would not wear away at the fabric that covers it. I've gotten to an age where I've just accepted, these aren't even quirks exactly. These are like what I imagine are in the future going to be seen as symptoms of some sort of underlying psychological disorder. Have I actually taken this out in public? Pretended to inhale and then blow out absolutely nothing? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I'm not ashamed of that either. I don't do this in front of like close family members or friends because having to explain to them that I'm actually smoking a fake cigarette is more humiliating than actually just being a junkie. It is more dignified to actually be dependent on nicotine than to be a theater kid. I have taken a hit of this out in public, deeply inhaled, and then exhaled absolutely nothing while making direct eye contact with people. And then I wink. And this is why I'm no longer allowed on public transit. So fake cigarette in hand, I will be consuming my weekly cortisol spiking indulgence. I used to do this with social media, but social media generally just pissed me off. That's why I don't go on Instagram anymore. I don't go on TikTok. I post. I make money off of these platforms, of course, but they're not going to waste my time. The only time I allow myself to go on these social media platforms is when I'm dropping the kids off at the pool, and it's one of my favorite parts of the day. Not going on social media, going to the bathroom to do a number 2. And if you think that's sad and depressing, I am sorry that I find joy in the little things in life. What have you gotten out of being such a curmudgeon besides wrinkles and stress ulcers? I had to completely cut out like going through IG and not just the reels because there was one post that I saw that was that ginger woman from a Game of Thrones, and she's in, I don't even know, the third reboot of Lara Croft. Of course, that gets a third reinstallment, whereas my rated R Rosa Parks comedy gets rejected. I would pitch it to Tyler Perry Studios, but I can't just hand the CIA that win, you know? Anyway, it was her flexing, okay, because she had to get jacked for the role. I mean, what is Lara Croft exactly, besides like a trust fund kid with a thick ponytail? I made the mistake of checking the comments, and it was a bunch of gooners, a bunch of elderly men on their public profiles, face and names included, complaining, and I mean genuinely enraged that this actress's tatas were not large enough to play Lara Croft. Genuinely angry, multiple comments, again on their public profile, enraged that this woman who had to lose a bunch of fat, right, and gain muscle for this role, also lost some on her chesticles. Genuinely enraged, and this is one of those things where I wish that I could take this interaction, go back in time, and go to the feudal peasant ancestors of these men and say, listen, y'all might as well just let the famine overtake you, because this is what all of your work is leading up to. Your gooner descendants taking their sweet time that they could have spent, assumedly with their children, because that's when they have custodies on the weekends, they're taking that sweet precious time to actually complain repeatedly about this non-issue. I feel like if I ever interacted with my ancestors, they'd probably just stone me. Okay, Jubilee. Jubilee and The Cut are essentially the same channel. The Cut is that one channel where they'll have the most randomized Sims collection of people you've ever seen. Truly, every flavor human that has ever existed, they have somehow managed to secure a small interview with each one of them. And they'll be asked random questions that are anywhere from like, what's the most painful thing a person has told you, to like, how often do you diddle yourselves? And these people just answer. Wouldn't it be hilarious if there was actually a gun being pointed at them from the producers off camera? If that was the case, I'd probably enjoy these videos more. The 20 view on Jubilee videos seem to have truly the most frustrating collection of people. And this is the thing, the producers do this deliberately, okay? They know exactly what they're doing.
And I think we need to go back to shaming fat people. We need to go back to making fun of them. I mean, if I was president, hell, I'd put all of them in a fat concentration camp so they could concentrate on dieting and exercising, because being fat is completely not acceptable.
They know that actual nuanced and open conversation and debate and blah, 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 the things people pretend to care about, that's not entertaining. And that's why the individuals that are frustrated with this and say like, this is a reflection of like, our democracy is crumbling and this is contributing and blah, blah. No. Y'all are watching this the wrong way, okay? You have to watch this the way that you would consume WWE. This is not the symposium. This is the gladiator pit. And the sadness over realizing that this is actually a reflection of what political discourse in our supposed democracy is like. I've emotionally disconnected years ago, okay? If you feel distressed about the state of political discourse, you know what you can do? Go and sign up to do some volunteer work at a soup kitchen. I'm being dead serious. You actually want to feel better about yourself? Drink some water and go do volunteer work, okay? It's all you can do. Hug your children or pets, beanie babies that are ranch stained. I don't know how you people live your lives. I'm assuming if you're watching me that your life is kind of like sad and empty. Hug them tight, you know? Kiss them on the forehead, and do something local. That's all you can do, okay? Whatever faith you have of things getting better, it's not. I don't know what to tell you. So if the house is on fire, look, you might as well light your fake cigarette. These producers will deliberately get people who have no interest in actual debate or discourse. And the person who was meant to be like the one individual who's going against the 20, the kind of people that get attracted to this at this point, these are individuals that love the drama. Okay, they love it. They find it delicious when the people who disagree with them run up. They run up to that chair. I mean, pushing people aside. I would love to see one day one of these individuals be someone who's actually in like a motorized wheelchair and I can't go that fast. And they start to move. And all these other people that are like right about, I mean, truly about to grab that chair, have to make that split-second decision of like, how mad do I want this? Do I want to debate this person so bad that I am willing to drop kick this person in a motorized wheelchair? Am I willing to drop kick Abby Lee Miller? And the beautiful thing is, for some of these people, the answer is yes. At least the person in the hot seat, they're usually there to like, I don't know, promote a book or a podcast or a manifesto or a gun line or something. I don't even know what the participants of this actually get. Truly, do they get paid? Is there any form of compensation? I feel like the producers gather them around in the warehouse, the void in some lot in California where this is filmed. And at the end of each shoot, they take a bunch of coins that are not even American currency. They throw them on the ground and they watch these people swarm like roaches to pick them up. I assume that's how these people are compensated. And what's so frustrating is sometimes the prompt, right? Because each person has to be like, I believe this statement. If you disagree with me, you know, give yourself a concussion running to this chair. Sometimes the prompt will be like something as basic as, you know, on average, men are taller than women. And you know that these cantankerous individuals, they're foaming at the mouth, and they run over and they're like, actually, I know a woman and she's actually like 6'4". Would it kill you to just agree with them on something? And of course, the one individual who actually is there to have a conversation, they're like, get her out of here. Get her out of here. Vote them out. If enough people raise that little flag, the person talking gets voted out. The more sane and rational you are, they will vote you out with a quickness. This is actually keeping in line with most political discourse on the internet, which, by the way, it's not discourse, okay? They're masturbatory echo chambers where people are just regurgitating the same exact information to an audience of people who already agree with them. It's replaced, like, cable news networks. And the audiences for most of those channels have, either had the diabetes fully take their eyesight and their hearing away, so they can't really consume this content anymore. Or they have actually just passed away. So now everything has moved online. And it's gotten to a point where I can't even watch a lot of like news segments or very political channels or video essays, even if I don't necessarily disagree with everything that's being said, because there is this bizarre smugness, okay? It just radiates from a lot of these people. It's palpable, the contempt that they have for anyone that they disagree with. And everyone in the comment section is agreeing with them. They're sitting there, farting and then just inhaling the stench of their own flatulence and applauding themselves. It's so perverse. And this is the fun part, okay? This is the fun part, and this is what really gets my cortisol levels up, is the fact that I will end up getting radicalized to the opinion that is the exact opposite of, like, the individuals clamoring to get to the chair. So if it's some random conservative speaker, like, Juju McBryant is, here promoting his new book, my pregnant wife ties my shoelaces every morning without hesitation, and she's happy about it. Like, that's the full title of the book. And there's, like, a bunch of leftists or feminists that are, like, foaming at the mouth, just waiting to, like, actually choke him out. Or it'll be, like, a left-leaning person who's there to promote their podcast about how, like, their non-binary dog and them are just as valid as, like, a nuclear family or something. Or the people clamoring to get to the chair are a bunch of conservatives with a cross around their neck who are there to play devil's advocate. Like, why would the devil want you as his representation? You don't think he could do better than a community college dropout? Whatever is the opposite of what those 20 people believe, that's what I get radicalized into. It's not even an intellectual move. Immediately, I either turn into, like, an old woman on my porch, rocking back and forth, telling these young kids to get off my lawn. Hey, you Zer, get off of my grass. The reflection from your septum piercing is blinding me. Oh, blue hair, let me guess. Your parents work for Lockheed Martin? Or if all of the people are conservative, ooh, the balaclava comes on. I am ready to throw a Molotov cocktail through their house, okay? Unless it says black owned on the side. I'm getting ready to ruin my conservative senator's life. I'm taking his phone number, putting it on Grindr, taking the screenshots and sending it to his wife. That's what these videos get me feeling. You see what I mean? You see how pumped up I get? The other category of video that Jubilee makes that I also adore are the, like, X versus Y, right? So they'll have, like, fat versus fit, religious versus non-religious, and they always sprinkle in, like, a cantankerous individual, and sometimes they're a recurring character. And every time I see them in the thumbnail, I'm like, this is gonna be delicious.
Screamed at us, and you yes, you did. No, you're being disrespectful. Rewind the tape.
You wanted me here, and I'm here.
Screamed.
So what you gonna do? You wanted me here, so I'm here. You in particular.
So be calm down and speak like that.
In particular,
what are you talking about?
It's not my fault that y'all don't understand respect.
Sorry, let's pause.
You're interrupting.
Oh my God.
Can you please stop? Okay. We're good.
You need to calm down.
No, you do, honey.
Oh my God. Someone get a Xanax for her.
Keep it cute, girl. Keep it real cute.
Oh, that's inappropriate, but the rest of shit isn't. Okay.
The fat versus fit one I always found tickling, because it includes Myron, who is either fresh or fit. I can't tell. The other one is practically a mute. I've heard this man speak maybe once before. Again, he's taken sweet time out of his riveting podcast where he interviews, every single OnlyFans model in the greater Miami area, packing them into that studio like sardines. This has to be like a fire safety hazard. I bet that studio smells like sweat, cocoa butter, and menthols. And he serves as the one person in all of these videos that they have to include. Okay, they have to include. It's like a reality TV show, all right? What would Flavor of Love have been if there wasn't Tiffany New York Pollard? You need the villain. You need the interesting person to stir the pot and make everything about them or get overly sensitive, okay? That's how they form engagement, because everyone in the comment section is talking about them. Again, when you look at it through the lens of this purely just being entertainment, you just accept it. Frankly, I want them to up it up a notch. The title has to be something very in your face, like Fatty Boom Batties versus, like, roided out juice heads. And they bring in people who aren't even just morbidly obese. You know, characters from WALL-E, like being wheeled in on an actual wheelbarrow. And then you have, like, jacked guys and You know what? Not just guys. Let's throw in some female steroid representation. And they're shooting up, like, on camera, by the way. And then they just go at it. Throw in a mud pit. I'm actually planning on how I'm gonna leave this mortal coil. I'm going to get myself on one of these shows as one of the guests, right? As one of the 20 individuals. I don't think I'll ever be relevant enough to be like the person who gets to sit in the hot seat. And then right as I basically like drop kick an elderly woman to get into that seat, I whip out a Glock and then I unalive myself directly on camera. That's how I plan on going out. Or I get on the cast of Love Island, okay? And then as I'm up on that like weird, I don't know, podium or something, I've only watched clips of the show. I take out a machete. I don't know how I've hid it inside of my bikini, but I take it out and I commit seppuku. On camera, and you know these monsters are willing to show it. They'll censor, you know, my intestines out or whatever. However, that's how I plan on going. And in this modern day and age, it's the only dignified way to leave this planet. So if you're a producer for any one of these shows, help me make my dream come true. So in conclusion, yeah, glow!